Next will be Miss Marsha Johnson.
Our office doesn't have a report today.
No report from Miss Marsha. Next will be Mr. Alan Pierce. I guess, Michael, you're standing in for him today?
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I was just showing Attorney Schul, I just got a text from Alan. He goes, here I am at Badwater in Death Valley, I'm 280 feet below sea level, lowest place in North America. So I texted him back for a picture, let's see if he figures out how to do that.
I know those other pictures he sent last week in the Grand Canyon with snow, that was pretty rough. You
Sure
know,
enough.
this bucket list stuff he's wanting to do, I pray for him every day.
And Commissioner Massey, I know that the other commissioners will towards the end of the meeting, but he's not even paying attention to me, is he? But, sir, I want to thank you for your 2 years of service as the chairman. You did a good job. I know they're going to do it, but I won't be able to stand back up because then the current chairman will adjourn right away. So, okay. So let's go to the restore report. Inform the board that on November 21st, Alan attended a FEMA kickoff meeting regarding the relocation of Gulf Shore Boulevard. Admittedly, the county has completed relocation, but the FEMA kickoff meeting is still important because the county would still like to utilize the FEMA funds set aside for Gulf Shore Boulevard so that the relocated road can be built to higher standards. FEMA said that their first step is to complete an environmental assessment of the different options that might be available, even though the road is already built. The assessment will take 6 to 8 months. FEMA staff, consultants, and Alan walked the relocated route. The county road department has done an excellent job in building a road with limited resources. Again, an excellent job, Commissioner Sanders thanked Howard this morning. FEMA understands the county had to build the road because of Hurricane Hermine, so there is no penalty for county proceeding. At this time, Alan believes FEMA will ultimately agree that the relocation was necessary and that FEMA funds will become available, but FEMA has to do its independent analysis. Mr. Ben Houston of APTA assisted in providing the meeting space, and he stayed for the meeting. He's not here this morning. So Alan took advantage of the FEMA personnel and their consultants being here and took them to Alligator Drive to inspect the section of the road between George Voss and Tom Roberts. They were surprised at the extent of damage and took a number of photographs. They could not say how long it will take for FEMA to review the documentation the county has submitted regarding Alligator Drive, as it is a complicated project. You all know that.
Yeah.
Next item, informed the board that several weeks ago, Alan met with the consultants for the Gulf Consortium to learn how Franklin County is coming in developing projects to be submitted to the consortium. The consultants met with all 23 counties and made a report of the findings at the December 2nd consortium meeting. Based upon the written report, the consultants submitted to the consortium, Alan said that it looks like most counties are in the same situation as Franklin. Most counties are not ready to submit specific shovel-ready projects to the consortium. Most counties, including Franklin, would like to access consortium planning funds to complete the development of their projects. Most counties, including Franklin, are not happy with the 15-year timeline for consortium projects to be funded. Such a timeline is too long, as too many things change over 15 years. There does not appear to be any timeline for when the consultants will finish the development of the consortium plan, and obviously, the governor cannot begin his review of the state expenditure plan until the consortium submit one. Commissioner Sanders may have additional comments as she attended the consortium meeting on December 2nd, along with the chairman, Mr. Parrish.
Well, Mr. Chairman, it's like I said, they did a brief, the ESA group did a brief synopsis of all 23 counties, and I'm in agreement with Alan. A 15-year span is going to be a little too much, and it goes down to the sustainability of the project, and we change, anyway, it's very, very complicated, but one of the things that really concerned me was the amount of projects that individual counties had to do or wishing for to do their projects, like the one county, $671 million, and they were depending on the POTS, and then NERDA, and NIFWIP, and the general fund. Well, Franklin County does not have general funds like that to be able to use on big projects like that. So we're going to be very careful going in. Where are we at in the process? who knows? Because it's taken so long for them to get the information up. And, you know, we were supposed to have, the consortium was supposed to have the state expenditure plan by the first part of the year in 2017 for the governor, and I don't even know if that's gonna be feasible. Because the governor's, got his appointees there, and they're saying, you know, where we at on this? Mike Stoll and Pamela Anderson and Mr. Neil Wade and Peter Boss and McDonaldo, or whatever his name is, Lino. But anyway, it's just gonna take a long time, and to me, it's not that pot of money in the sky,
Right.
you know? And I say, and this is how I still feel, you know, as it goes forward, we may not even have the amount of money they have, because I still believe that there's gonna be challenges down the line on it, specifically. But, anyway, that's just my comments on that. But it was another 2-hour meeting, and basically they just gave us a synopsis of it. And one of the issues were that we wanted it on the website to work and sent to the individual members to where they could look at and compare the projects listed, because there is gonna be some room in there for regionalization of projects. And I think, Brian and other ones, you know, spotted it right off the bat that, you know, our regionalization is probably gonna be Wakulla, Franklin, Gulf, or maybe expand it to Wakulla, Franklin, Gulf, Liberty, Calhoun, and all like that. And you don't never know what may be in line for it. Because we've got some good, each individual county has got some good projects, but it's when we come together that we can maximize those dollars to make it good. So I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Next item, inform the board that Allen has teleconference with DEP representatives over the Island View Park project. The project is slowly moving forward. DOT engineers are reviewing the access and turn lanes that are proposed for this park. And I have an item on my report about the same project. And finally, from Allen's report, recommend to the board that they approve the purchase of $6,000 worth of wetland mitigation credits in the St. Mark's Mitigation Bank to mitigate for the impacts caused by the relocated Gulf Shore Boulevard. Allen highly recommends the board approve this purchase, as this is what DEP wants in order to issue the DEP wetland permit for the relocated road. The $6,000 will come out of the Ballpoint Trust Fund, and Clay is here, and he can address any questions you guys have regarding this request to purchase these mitigation credits.
Anybody have any questions? Basically, what he's saying is as you impact a wetland, then you have to buy and set aside another piece of wetland to mitigate what you have messed up in the wetland that you have.
Just swapping.
You're swapping, but basically it's gonna cost us $6,000 here to buy a piece of wetland to mitigate for the wetland that we have impacted.
I'll make a motion to buy it.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Massey. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Lockley. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries.
And he did send me a picture, I'll pass it down afterwards. I'll move on to my report. Item 1 of my report, board action to authorize the chairman's signature on the memorandum of understanding between the Area Agency on Aging and the county. This agreement would allow Area Agency on Aging to manage the funds provided by the county for senior services for 1 year. Ms. Lisa Brett, Area Agency on Aging's Executive Director, and I discuss her agency's role for the next year. Ms. Brett will continue to work with any local agency that is willing to provide services to our seniors. She will host a workshop to discuss with the local agencies the criteria and procedure to receive funding for providing services. Attorney Schuler has reviewed the MOU.
It's all right?
Yes, sir, it's acceptable.
Basically, it looks like to me that they're doing exactly what we
What
wanted
you
to
guys want to
do.
do, they just need it in writing. That's
We just need
basically
it in
what it
writing. We
is.
need a motion and a second from the board.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman? one thing I wanna make sure is that they access all those funds up at the state level
Mhm.
that are applicable to our people, like the
Yeah.
Alzheimer's Project and all
That is
that.
specifically in there.
Yes.
Okay,
The plan is
because
to,
that's
to use our funds as
Lord.
leverage to access the state funds. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
That's
because I
exactly
mean,
what you wanted.
we were missing out on it, so I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Sanders. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Massey. Any further discussion on this issue? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries.
Second item, board action to accept the Library Advisory Board's recommendation to appoint Ms. Lisa Lance as the new library director. I will meet with Ms. Lance to discuss the board's expectation as it relates to the management of both library branches, providing the board accepts this. I have members from the Library Advisory Board here in case you guys have any questions to who they pick, how they pick, the scoring, how it was done. Because I was not.
I'd like
part
to
of it.
know how the score was done.
Is there someone, please come forward, state your name for the record.
I'm Sandra Furby, and I'm the Secretary for the Library Advisory Board. We accepted applications for, I think, 2 weeks in October, and there were 6 applicants. We interviewed all 6 applicants. We did have a scoring mechanism, and we asked the same questions of each candidate. We had 2 criteria that we wanted for the applicants. One was either a master's in library science currently, or the ability to receive a library science degree within 3 years. And the other requirement was 2 years' experience working in the library. And although 3 of the candidates did not meet that second requirement for the 2 years minimum, we did interview everybody, and we scored the candidates. The top 2 candidates we took to the whole board and presented. The top candidate withdrew, and this Lisa Lance was our second candidate, a very strong candidate who has just received her bachelor's degree in library and information services and is going to be working on her master's, and she currently works at the library in Bay County. You have any other questions?
Any other questions from the board?
In Bay County?
Uh-huh, in Panama City.
She got a job in Big County?
She does, uh-huh. And she'd like to
Relocate.
she does want to relocate. She will be moving here to Franklin County with her family.
When we're talking about this master's, and I think you have to have that degree to comply with the grant.
Well, when we're working with Wilderness Coast, it's acceptable with Wilderness Coast if you're working on the library degree, and so that's what Ann did when she was the director, and I think that's what Eileen Annie did when she became the. So the director will be working on that, getting that master's
But
degree
that is a requirement of,
for state aid.
State aid,
aid.
exactly.
For state aid,
Right.
yes.
Yeah, because without it, I think what we'd have to do, and I talked to Ms. Pat up at Wilderness Coast, we would have to rely on them or someone within the network that had a degree, and then we'd have to pay them administrative costs to
Yeah.
do that. So that's basically the choices we're
Well,
dealt, you know.
Right.
Is it a state requirement they work 2 years?
Yes. Yes, it is a state requirement, that not only a library degree, but also 2 years in working in a library.
That's a state requirement?
Yes, it is.
Y'all need to put that in the application.
We did put it in the application, that it was 2 years of experience working in a library.
Ain't nobody local qualified?
No, we had 2 people that were local, and neither one of them had the 2 years' experience.
Any other comments from the board?
I just don't, I believe in hiring local. I mean, this lady got a job in Panama. Y'all do what you want. I ain't gonna, whoop you. You got local people here, you gonna bring somebody in, you got people here paying taxes, and you don't wanna give them no job. I don't like that.
Again, we did not have a local candidate that met met the basic requirements for the job. And this person is willing to relocate with her and family.
If you don't meet the requirements of this library grant that we get from the state, then that's gonna put more of a burden on the taxpayers. So, I mean, we just about have to have that grant in order to operate the library system. Is that pretty much correct?
To my understanding, we do, we'll have to, to my understanding, if we don't get somebody that meets the state requirements, we either have a choice of not accepting the state funding anymore to run the libraries, or if we accept the funds, we'll have to get, like I said before, someone from, or Wilderness Post itself to act as the surrogate.
So
you know.
again, that would be somebody
So
from
then,
the county.
and the only place we could reduce that funding from, based on the library budget, would be if you hire somebody without it, then that salary will have to go down, because that's where we'll have to pull the funds from to pay Wilderness Coast to administer the grants for us. So, I mean, we're kind of,
Kind of
the problem is the state funding. How important is the state funding to the county? That's what we have to figure here, if that's going to play a role as who we put as library director.
But it seemed to me you're penalizing folks. I mean, you got, just because you work 2 years, you say you want a bachelor's, you got other people with higher degrees, but you penalizing them because they ain't had the 2 years. But she got to go to school to get a master. I mean,
I think she has her 4 years already. Ms. Lance, does she have her 4
Yes.
years?
She has her bachelor's degree.
but
Yeah.
you requiring a master's, right? See, that's the part that's troublesome to me.
The state library grants requiring a master's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Commissioner
Not-
Lucky, I just want you guys
Yeah,
to
but-
understand, that's not our requirement, that's what, to get the state funds. So, I mean, if
That's
we
what I'm
want to give
saying.
out the state funds, then we don't have to pay attention to any of those requirements.
Give
No,
up the state funds, and we got to refund, we got to have more money in the library budget to pay them.
The budget's already done.
That's what I'm saying, it's
There's
done,
no
done.
going back. You'll have to
Yeah.
cut positions or
We
something.
have to cut jobs and all. to
Yeah,
make-
you'll have to probably cut one of your positions and then re-advertise, because the salary won't be the same. There's no way you'll be able to pay that salary,
We
Without,
have to cut a position and a part-time out to pay it.
yeah, I understand what they're
Yeah,
saying.
yes, sir.
but
So that's kind of like a rock and a hard place.
I see what you're saying, but I just don't like the system, how it is.
Yeah.
Messed up.
Like state of Florida.
Yeah, it's messed up.
it is messed up. It's what we have to deal with, because the budget's already set, and we won't be able to address anything till the next budget cycle. So we need pleasure of the board.
And keep in mind that Ms. Ren Rickerson has been the only staff member at the East Point branch now, going on 2 months.
So they're understaffed over there.
Yes, she is the only one there, so we have to.
Pleasure of the board.
Do we table? Do you guys, I mean,
That's pleasure of the board. Somebody, either me to
Do y'all
move forward, or
direct-
table the issue, or.
Let me
whatever.
ask-
Hear from anybody else on the advisory board that participated in the?
Yes, ma'am, come, oh, no, I can't, I ain't sure.
My name is Leslie
I'm
Cox.
sorry.
My name is Leslie Cox. I participated in the interview process, and we had a really strong candidate for the number one proposed applicant. She withdrew. She'd had many, many years of library experience and other experience, professional experience that would have been helpful too. Unfortunately, the state requires our libraries to have a level of expertise. And the reason why, I mean, it's obvious why they do that. They want libraries, which are public facilities that are for adults and children and everybody gets services there. I mean, our library services people that need help with computers. They have services for people that are in school or after-school programs. And all of those programs that we're so fortunate that we have professional people bring into our libraries, but we have to depend on state funds. And the state funds require a level of expertise that we have to have our applicants and our directors have to be at that level. And it's bachelor's degree in library science, followed by a master's degree in library science, but you can work on that while you have the job. And in addition to that, you have to have library experience, actual real-world library experience. Some of the applicants, unfortunately, didn't meet those qualifications. So we strongly advise you to help our libraries work better. We have 2 great facilities. We need to have the employees in there. We need to have them staffed. I mean, it's not good to have one person at any kind of a facility. I mean, that's dangerous. You know, she needs help. So we need to move this process forward. And the advisory board, the review board, the applicant review board, please, we implore you to do the right thing, move forward, and let's help our libraries be fully staffed. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Pleasure of the board.
You got something, Michael?
For some reason, Erin from Finance just called over and said, as soon as we can, we need to take a recess. She needs to come talk to you all about something, so it must be very important, so. So, I don't know if you want to.
I'd like to
Okay,
address,
okay,
let's
it's just like-
address this issue.
All right, is the lady here that put in for the job?
No, she's working in Panama City.
And she is gonna move to Franklin County?
Yes, I've actually been, I'm Shelley Shepherd.
Come forward, please, ma'am. I need to talk to you. And that lady is gonna move to Franklin County?
Yes, sir. My name is Shelley Shepherd. I'm on the Library Advisory Board, and I was also on the member of the interview committee. And her name is Lisa Lance. She's living in Panama City right now with her husband. I have been emailing with her. She's planning to come tomorrow or Friday to spend time in the county. She's going to be staying at the Franklin Inn in Carabel. I mean, if y'all do decide to
I just want to
proceed.
know, is she gonna move to
Oh,
Franklin County?
yes, sir. She is planning to come and rent a house for as long as it takes and decide where she wants to be. Right now, she's leaning towards Carabel. Like I said, she's planning to stay in Carabel tomorrow night or maybe through the weekend. And she's absolutely planning to move to Franklin County.
Okay.
We really got,
She was-
we can
I'll make a
either
motion
to approve.
to approve. 'Cause, I mean, we ain't got no choice. The state says we
We have
gotta
a
hire
motion on the floor
somebody.
by Commissioner Massey. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Sanders. Discussion? I got it. Ma'am, do you want to speak on this issue before we take this vote?
Please.
Come forward, state your name for the record. We need to keep it brief because we have something else going on here.
I'm Teresa Howard. I had applied for the library director position, and when I went for my interview, I was very encouraged, even though I did not have 2 years of experience in library. My massive experiences within our county and teaching experience with children, adults, and a lot of jobs that I've had, I feel like qualified for me for this job. And I was not told, and I talked to many people within the library that had connections with the library, that I should qualify and have just as good a chance as anyone that applied for that job. And I was also told by a person, I don't want to mention her name, but I would, that's affiliated with the Library Advisory Board and the Wilderness Library, that said you do not have to have a master's degree to be in that library director's position. I could give that name to you if you needed it. Also, I feel very strongly that if you have a candidate in our county that has a bachelor's degree in education, that should be honored. And you should look at that very intensely, because if you have a person who's from this area that's went to that length to get a degree to work within our county with our people. I surely and strongly believe the people of our county would very much like to have that person if they're well-known within our county with working with adults and children.
You got a bachelor's degree?
Yes, I do.
But you gotta have one according to these statements in library science, not
That
just
was
a
not told
bachelor's
to me
degree.
when I went for that. None of that was told to me. And the people that I was told to had encouraged me to even apply. I would have never applied if I'd have thought that I would have never had an opportunity to get that job. Even when I went for my job interview, I was encouraged sitting at that table that I would have, that they would call back possibly for, they may call back for second interviews. When I left that meeting that day, I was still encouraged that I could wind up with getting that job. I would have not even went this far to even come today if I wouldn't have thought that there was the opportunity of getting that job.
You been a teacher? You a teacher?
Yes, sir. I'm a teacher at the Franklin County School. Plus, I've worked in very extensive, highly technical and immersion of information jobs. And am I capable of doing that job? Yes. And I am from this county and lived here for 53 years.
Teresa, did they say what was the reason why they didn't consider you? Because, I mean, if you've got a bachelor's degree and the other...
They never really said. I got an email that said that that a library person who has a library degree applied, and that I would not be put before the board. That was all the email that I had gotten. Really, there was a very lack of communication.
I understand that what was in the ad that was advertised for this
I just sent it to
job?
attorney.
That's what I'm looking at now, Mr. Chairman.
Give us just a second, let him look over that and see what was in
Yeah,
it.
because, I mean, I said,
If the,
I didn't know.
if
I didn't
the,
know it.
if the job requirements require a Bachelor of Library Science and the ability to obtain a master's in library science, that should have been put into the application, I mean,
The
the
ad.
announcement.
Yes, in the ad, it ran in the paper.
Mr. Chairman, here's what the qualification states. Is master's degree in library science and information science, or to receive degree within 3 years, plus a minimum of 2 years of progressively responsible experience in professional library work and technology. Then it goes on to say, must relate well to the general public, have good public relations skills, and be adaptable and flexible. That's what was, and this was the ad that was actually published, Mike.
That's the ad that
This
was
is not the
published.
proof of publication, but this is.
It's not proof, but that's what was sent to the newspaper. I can call across the street to get the proof.
And according to that, I do not have the library experience. I've told them at the interview that I would be willing to go back and take classes. But with my teaching experience and within, I mean, if you have a bachelor's degree and you've already been working in an educational setting, I'm sure you could catch on very quickly with working as a 2-year your library experience. You've worked in the public and in jobs that, I was not, when I went for that, I was encouraged to go there by other people.
Excuse me, the attorney has something that needs to relate to the board.
Yes, I was just going to say, based on what I've heard Ms. Howard say here this morning and reading this, I don't believe that she would meet the advertised qualifications, and she would not be a person that you could appoint to this position, nor is she the recommendation to you from your advisory board. So my recommendation to the board is that you would proceed with your motion and accept the recommendation from your advisory board based on the information that I've heard here this morning, that Ms. Howard does not meet the qualifications that were advertised in the newspaper.
And, let me just be clear one more time. This is it depends if you guys want to use the state funds or you don't.
Well, we ain't got
This
no
is money
choice
Okay.
on that, Michael, because we ain't got no money to replace that state aid grant for this year of operations of the library. We don't, the budget's set, there ain't no money there to throw the grant back to the state and start paying it out of the county taxpayers' pocket, because the budget's already set.
Yes, that's,
To me, that's not a real option.
My thing is this, I know what you're saying is true, but what I'm saying, and that's just my opinion, I don't like the way it's set up, I don't like the way that they got it set up.
I don't like the way the state's got it set up either. I
Yeah,
mean,
I know we got to go by, we got rules, we got to go by. I know we got to go by 'em, but
That don't make you like it.
that don't make me like it.
I understand.
Well, and my thing is right here, Miss Lance, she has a BS,
Yes.
right? Bachelor's degree,
Yes.
right? You have a bachelor's degree. The only difference between Miss Howard and Miss Lance is, Miss Lance has got the 2 years, right?
Well, the one more thing, the bachelor's degree is in.
Library science.
Library
Library
science,
science.
so there's actually two different.
And your bachelor's degree is in what, Teresa?
Education.
Education, but now they said she just started her job too, so she does not have 2 years of experience either. Oh.
Yeah, the application was sent to you guys in a prior email, Lisa Lance's, information.
And then,
Well, they say
I don't
you
see
see
what,
you.
well, you know, y'all, they been in the if they been to college, they been in the library 2 years.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
It's true.
Actually not working there, Commissioner. I guess using it and working in it is two different things, so, but I understand what you're saying, sir.
Leave it to Mr.
We have,
I'm sure they have that.
we have all that on our iPad.
Huh?
We
We
have,
have every bit of it on my
Yeah,
iPad,
yeah,
yeah.
it's, she, based on what was sent, her application, she's been there for 2 years.
Keep your file together.
I will. So, I understand what she's saying, but it comes down to this board deciding, do you want the state money or not? That's basically what it is.
Well, we
I hate to
got-
put it that way.
we ain't
but
got no choice.
It is.
Do you still get the state money even though she does not have her master's?
Yes, because the agreement, you have 4 years and you have a time period in which to get your master's.
you have to be enrolled in working on your master's, but you gotta have a 4-year bachelor's degree in library science.
As Ms. Ann Burchell was doing, she had her 4 and she was working towards a 6.
My understanding is that that is, to be real clear, that that's a Wilderness Coast requirement. But now, if the person does not have a master's degree in library science, and something would happen with the state funding for Wilderness Coast, we would not have state funding. You're very vulnerable without that master's degree, and every member library in Wilderness Coast has, their library director has a master's degree in library science. And I also think that I've been a librarian for almost 30 years, and working as a person who has not worked in a library without a library degree, you might be fine in a large system where you could learn from other librarians, but this is going to be a situation where there is no other librarian. There's no one with the education background for that job. The other 3 employees at the county library, none of them have actually any college. So you're going to rely on that library expertise for the director, and that's why I think we really need somebody with some experience.
Okay, we need to move on because we've been notified that we've got to take a recess. Commissioner Master, are you sticking with your
Thank you for your
motion?
time.
yeah, I guess I got to, because we ain't got no choice.
Commissioner Sanders, are you sticking with
I
your
don't
second?
really want to, but I guess I will.
So we do have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor? All opposed?
I oppose.
Motion carries.
And I want to let it be on record, I do not like this,
I don't like it.
Yes?
but I can see what you're talking about, Michael. It's no reflection on you.
I'd like to
But-
give that lady the job. She lives here.
Absolutely.
It's not,
We do have another position available at the library.
Absolutely. What's she saying?
I know we gotta take a break, but
We do.
this lady lives here.
They
I
pay
mean,
the same,
It's just,
And we do have another position available, it's been advertised in the paper.
pay the same.
No, sir.
Board will take a recess 5 minutes.
Where there, Morgan? Because she needs to